Minister of Financial Services and Investments, Minister of State, that is Kayla's Roll, among members contributing to the House debate today on the budget, calling for resolve on the mounting crime problem. Mr. Roll added that there is tremendous work to be done to generate sufficient activity to get the economy on firm footing again.
If you invest, particularly in physical infrastructure, you have to include the people infrastructure because they access the physical infrastructure. And if they are not able to comfortably access the physical infrastructure, our balance will be out of whack. I remembered while I served as president of the chamber, one of the things that I commonly advocated for is modernizing the Bahamas, modernizing the physical infrastructure, modernizing legislation, modernizing our approach to doing everything. You know, I am a proponent of innovation. I believe for far too long, you know, we've been stuck in the dark ages. You know, when you go to some countries like Norway, and you look at their investment in modernizing their country, when you look at the amount of money we spend, we're losing out on good opportunities.
Well, also contributing to the debate today was MP for Mangrove Key and South Andros, Picewell Forbes. He spoke on the many challenges that those in North Andros face and said that Bahamians, not foreigners, should be the ones to restore the economic and social fabric of the country.
The Bahamian people, Mr. Speaker, expect much. But the truth be told, these are challenging and difficult times. But through it all, our people expect help now. We need to be truthful but compassionate. As legislators, we must note the fact it was only a few days ago that our people were able to reach us on our regular telephone numbers. Now that we are the government, Tall Pines, if they can't reach you now, it is not a good sign.
Well, controversy in Parliament today after it was revealed this week that the National Security Minister and his Minister of State now carry guns. Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Loretta Butler Turner, took to the House of Assembly floor today, tackling that subject along with land and money issues. Janaea Noel Ferguson has more.
In a passionate contribution, MP for Long Island and Deputy Leader of the FNM, Loretta Butler Turner, says that despite claims by the former administration that the country's economy was left in shambles, the Ingram-led administration left the Bahamian economy on an uptick out of the recession.
Indeed, the Ingram administration left office with the economy in a recovery mode. On May the 8th, Mr. Speaker, the business section of the local data
you now, it is not a good sign.
Quote from the 2012-2013 budget communication, which was given by the Right Honorable Prime Minister, and I read, I quote, "The domestic economy continued its recovery from the recession last year."
She urged the new government not to follow in the footsteps of the old PLP, giving away land, and called for campaign finance reform so that everyone is aware of who the government wheels and deals with. She also defended the former administration's borrowing policies.
This new government will in fact reap the benefits of the good work of the past 5 years. Undoubtedly, many of them will happily do so, even as they criticize us, what they may attempt to celebrate as their own. Mr. Speaker, the extraordinary investments by the former government bode well for our future.
In addressing the issue of crime, Butler Turner blasted the government for allowing its ministers of national security to tote weapons. This, she said, is unheard of.
The record would reflect that no minister of any previous government has ever carried arms. And Mr. Speaker, I would ask this government to reflect on the gravity of what is happening and reconsider that decision, because it now opens the door, Mr. Speaker, to perhaps allow our country to become a legal gun-toting society.
Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS News.
Several parliamentarians were victims of theft yesterday. Minister of Central Grand Bahama, Member of Parliament, Nico Grant, informed House members today that his license plates were stolen off his vehicle while the House was in session on Wednesday. MP for South Andros and Mangrove Key, Picewell Forbes, said the same thing happened to him. National Security Minister Dr. Bernard Nottage responded, assuring that measures will be taken to beef up security in the area.
Yesterday, while my vehicle was parked just outside the window, one of its license plates was removed, stolen. Mr. Speaker, this concerns me greatly because we know when license plates are stolen, what follows. It is troubling, Mr. Speaker, that while I'm in here attending to the business of the people, that my vehicle parked just a few feet away from the House of Assembly, the license plate was stolen.
I too would like to report the same, that while my car was parked just below the windows of this honorable place, upon leaving the house yesterday and arriving at the barber shop, I realized my plate would have been taken.
And I suggest that we take steps to have the area properly supervised by the police. I will speak with the commissioner and see what steps can be taken, but it is really ridiculous if that did occur yesterday, and obviously it did. But this place is teeming with policemen. Yes. And so that really is inexcusable. We'll deal with it.
The Progressive Liberal Party campaigned on doubling the investment in education and training. Now, as a government, the 2012-2013 budget will see the start of this plan unfold by revealing or realigning the educational system to reflect the needs of the 21st century and to prepare youth for nation building. Tonight, Altaviz Munnings tells us about the Minister of Education's budget contribution in the House of Assembly yesterday.
The government will utilize 9 separate but connected components to double the nation's investment and training over the next 5 years. Among them, expand and improve preschool education and after-school programs, early detection of special needs, 21st century schools, career path academies, and establishing the University of the Bahamas. It's an aggressive task led by Education, Science and Technology Minister Jerome Fitzgerald. He reiterated during his budget contribution in the House of Assembly Wednesday afternoon the urgent demand for highly skilled Bahamians to compete in a competitive job market. Meanwhile, Minister Fitzgerald pointed out that training will be afforded to preschool educators, and they will also develop the Early Childhood Care National Standards Guide that will be published in August. On the primary school level, the government plans to decrease overcrowding due to the economic recession by expanding 9 primary schools nationwide. The Education Minister also noted that the election campaign promise of career path academies will increase the graduation rate and prepare students early for their careers. What's different for education is the introduction of Spanish and literature in the Bahamas Junior Certificate examinations during the new school year.
In reference to literature, it is expected by exposing our students to the mandatory prescribed in-depth study of various literary forms at junior level. We will undoubtedly see improvements in their comprehension, critical thinking, writing, and speaking skills, and rekindle interest in reading, thereby producing more literate population.
The government will also unveil a national high school diploma by June 2016.
The new standardized national high school diploma will establish benchmarks in achievement in academic and applied sciences, social development, and preparedness to work or college. It will encourage students to attain at least a minimum standard for education, provide students with a credential that provides meaningful information to a prospective employer or for college entrance, or recognize students' personal achievements.
Then there's school policing. Minister Fitzgerald disclosed that he met with principals who unanimously agreed that school police are essential during arrival, departure, and break school periods, whose presence can significantly reduce criminal activity.
I was also recommended that the police be utilized to speak to students on special occasions with regard to conflict resolution, the law and responsibility of students with respect to peer pressure, and respect for others.
Other projections this fiscal year for education include physical school upgrades, allocation of over $8 million for new ministry appointments, reassessments, promotions, and transfers, and revisiting the expatriate teachers' contract appointment process. Altaviz Munnings, ZNS News.
Just after the Attorney General, Alison Maynard Gibson, relaunched the Swift Justice Program, Minister of State for Legal Affairs and Member of Parliament for Central and South Eleuthera, Damian Gomez, is providing further details on the office's plans this fiscal year. One of those plans is to increase the prosecutor complement at the Attorney General's office and decrease the backlog of cases.
We move from no assistant directors of public prosecutions to 5. From 17 chief counsels to 19. From 7 senior counsel to 20 senior counsel. And from 8 counsel to 24 counsel. We intend, after a full review of our manpower situation and what can be done currently to increase efficiency in the Office of the Attorney General.
Additionally, more space will be made available to accommodate operations at the Registrar General's Shirley Street headquarters. The government also plans to appoint 1 deputy registrar and 2 assistant registrars, with one of them working in Freeport. The government will also propose new legislation to amend the 1987 Births and Deaths Registration Act.
We will reintroduce and appoint assistant registrars and registrars of births and deaths to provide bedside birth registration to mothers before they leave the hospital, so as to ensure that every birth occurring in New Providence is registered. This will also have a tremendous impact on dated capture of all birth registrations in the Bahamas.
It's time for today's Doctor's Hospital Health Tip. A lot of guys try to give the impression that they're calm, cool, and collected. The sad part is the women sometimes buy into this act. Here are some of the biggest worries that can weigh on a guy's mind. That he's going to lose his hair. Lots of guys equate follicle failure as a failure in masculinity. He worries that he's going broke. Economic shocks, like the one we're in right now, worry guys for lots of reasons. Your man probably wants to provide comfortably for his family. It can also undermine the way he sees himself as a man. Another worry, that he'll have 1 cheeseburger too many. Many men worry about their health as they start to get older. The one killer that really makes men worry, the heart attack. Another worry, that he'll be called out in public. Some of us are thick-skinned when it comes to taking criticism from bosses, spouses, and every other kind of critic, but none of us likes getting called out or picked on in front of a crowd. That he'll fail to perform in the clutch. When a man can't rise to the occasion, so to speak, he feels about as useful as an old car with a rusted spark plug. 1 in 10 will have trouble with erectile dysfunction at some point in their lives.